And what do you like the most about Mexico? Is your first time here?
No, I've been to Mexico. Mexico, the country, I've been a lot.
Okay.
Mexico City, probably 3 or 4 times.
Okay, okay.
But I love, I mean, specifically for Mexico City, I love the people are all so nice. The architecture, the food, man, the museums. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like. I love the weather. If you catch it, like
Yeah.
I've been here multiple times, and honestly, I've never really caught like the super rainy stuff. Like I hear about it, they're always like, "Oh, it rains a lot in Mexico City." And I'm like one day here, one day there, but not like, it's not like Seattle or somewhere it's like raining all the time, is it?
Okay. And what do you what does it mean to you to bring your Apple Music One show to Mexico?
Well, it means a lot for me to be invited by, our Latin American team. It means a lot to, be here with Chiquis and, her history in and around the music and, the history of her mother and the work they've put in. So I'm honored to come and learn, right? Because I think like a lot of people right now, you're seeing the success of the artists, right? Seeing the music happen. It's great music. The songwriting of like corridos has always been amazing, right? Like stories and all of that. But the way the young people are putting it with like trap drums and just different sounds, I think it's just dope. So to even be invited to come learn and try to like, help artists become more recognized, it's kind of an honor to me.
Okay. And what's your take about these whole corridos tumbados things? And specifically, what do you think about the background that they have in hip hop and rap culture?
The artists or the music or what?
Some artists like Peso Pluma and Nathaniel Cano.
Well, I think, in my opinion, all over the world, you know, uh, people have told stories through songs, whether that's poetry, singing, however a mix of both, right? And so I think, you know, these guys are obviously influenced by, things coming out of the United States, right? But they're also influenced by their heritage. And that's what hip hop's about. Hip hop is about taking your culture, whether that's your geographical culture, right? Like if you are from the South of the United States, southern part of the United States, or if you're from the West Coast, they develop certain sounds. If you're from New York, certain sounds. Same thing here, right? They're taking the sound of their region and the things that they were raised on and that they love and that are part of their identity and culture, and then incorporating sounds of hip hop and stylings of hip hop. And that's hip hop. Like that's what it is, right? It's also a part of taking things that were a part of the past and sampling them and bringing them forward to the future, right? So corridos and banda, that's been around for centuries, right? Generations. So that part of it is also super hip hop, right? Where you're kind of building this generational bridge between the past and the present. You're giving the young kids are influenced by what Abuela was playing, or Theo was playing, Dad was playing, Mom was playing, and they're like, "Yo, I want to do my own version of it." So I think it keeps the culture intact. It keeps generations connected. I think it's important.
Yeah, even the aesthetics of it, because you can see the cover of the
right.
The
the album, the outfits, the everything. Yeah, the art, the art, the performances, just all of it. It's taking it international, right? And even the fact that like, I've been following a little bit where, calling it música mexicana and putting it through that lens and not making it larger than life. It's all music coming together out of, this culture and this community and taking it to the world, right? In an interesting new way. And I think that's important.
Besides the great popularity of Corridos Tomatoes, what do you think is going to be like the next big thing? Could you give an example?
Like a sound or an artist?
Like a trend, like hyper, like that.
With hip hop, I think part of the magic of hip hop is the fact that you don't know what's about to happen. You don't know who is about to happen. You don't know why. You know what I mean? And then this moment, a song, an artist, a story, and everybody galvanizes around it and supports it and uplifts it. It's hard to predict. It's very hard to predict, like, what's going to be next. I think, right now, as big as the music is in this moment, there's a lot of room to grow, and there's a lot of fans to gain, and there's a lot of amazing and interesting collaborations that have yet to happen, whether that's, Spanish collaborations or Spanish and English collaborations that take the songs into even English-speaking spaces and take that sound in more English-speaking spaces for people who don't speak Spanish. So I think, for the next minimum 5 years, it's about being, for corridos and música mexicana having this platform, it's about consistency over an extended period of time, and it's also about great songs. Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, we could talk about all of this, aesthetic and sonics and things like that, but the songs got to be great, and they got to connect with people in a real way, in an authentic way. So, I think the next little while it's going to be, and it's also about developing, giving these artists time to create real relationships with the consumer and the fans, right? Yaritza Esencia, she's what, 16?
Yeah.
Like, she's 16 years old. Like, 10 years from now, she's 26. She's still young. Like, that's a long time for an artist to, have a run. Most artists don't even have runs of a decade, right? And I hope she does, right? So I think, oftentimes I'm always cautious to, like, rush to the next when everybody's enjoying a moment, right? Like, I think we all do it because it's like, oh, this is hot. Okay, what's next? It's kind of like the way we consume things now.
Yeah.
But I always, like, fight against it. Like, I'm always kind of like, nah, chill. Like, this is their first album, second album. Like, why are we, you know what I mean? Why are we rushing?
Yeah.
So I hope this is a moment of, sustained great music and culture. You know what I mean?
What do you think about, in my perspective, Apple Music is a great place because they always consider kind of the human factor,
Yeah.
because they have like this spaces based in an algorithm, for example, like Spotify, but they also have Apple Music Radio, with real people that if they're
and even a lot of our playlists that you see that are made by us that's a person sitting there making that playlist. It's amazing. And it speaks to the integrity of the company. Apple as a company is about, it's about humanities and art as well as business and tech and all of those things, but it's about that intersection and finding that balance all the time and trying to keep that balance. That's one of the, like, principles of the company. Like, that's something that's talked about at the highest. So, while yes, we're Apple Music, but we're part of a large ecosystem and a large corporation that in all aspects of the corporation, they're trying to always find that balance of having people and technology work together. It's not about just, removing the human experience from, the brand and what we have to offer the consumer, right? Because ultimately we're trying to connect with people, and the best way to connect with people is with other humans, right? Other people. So I think it's phenomenal, and I'm glad that it's, and I'm glad and I'm fortunate to be able to work with a team and a company that prioritizes that.
Okay. And do you still listen to music in CDs and vinyls?
I'm usually streaming, just because I don't have as much time to just, take vinyl out. I have a lot of vinyl because I've been in and around media for a long time. So I have a pretty extensive collection, CDs as well. But I don't even know if I have a CD player right now. Okay. I don't even know if I have one. I have record players. And I have, I have a CDJ. Like, I have the first Pioneer CDJ that was ever made. It's not plugged in. So I guess if I wanted to put a CD in now, I could do that. I have that.
Yeah. Okay. And what are we seeing today?
Today, we have a lot of artists coming by. Myself and Chiquis we want to commemorate this moment in music history, right? That's like these artists are dominating the charts, and it's a youth movement. Like I said, bringing forward, music, cultural music, that's important to Mexico and Mexican culture, but doing it in a new way. And we kind of want to just celebrate that moment with artists and Apple Music broadcasts to 150 something countries, maybe more than that. And so it's an opportunity to spend 3 hours like talking to the world about something that's happening in a specific place in the world in a specific time and being able to commemorate it, play songs, tell about the stories, right? Like, how did we get to this point, and who are the artists taking it forward, and, why the music is important, and, where it comes from. Just give people the whole kind of, holistic as much as possible view of the music.
Okay. And which artist should we listen to now? Can you name 5 names that you're listening now?
Let's see. I like the 1% with Bad Bunny. I've been listening to that a lot. And I also like Karol G's new album. I like what she's doing. I've listened to that kind of recently. Someone on my team is a huge Karol G fan, is always talking about her. So I have to go see what that's all about. Burna Boy gets a lot of play. What else have I been listening to? Janelle Monáe's album. Specifically today, Cameron from Diplomats, Dipset, he just dropped a new album, so I've been listening to that today. Trying to think what else. That's all I can think of right now. A lot of singles. There's a lot of singles out there. Oh, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion today. That happened today. Doja Cat's been getting a lot of play. Ice Spice been getting a lot of play. I hear that a lot. Yeah. Beyonce obviously still gets a lot of play in the house. My daughter, my lady, they burning Beyonce to the ground. Plus the concert just came through, so it's like nonstop.
Yeah. And what is your general outlook of today's hip hop? Do you think we are, like heading into some futuristic direction, something like that?
I don't know, honestly. I think hip hop is so diverse right now. I think it's in a phenomenal space. I think, look, I'm the person that, like, when I hear people complaining about where hip hop is, that also makes me excited, because that means people still give a shit. You know what I'm saying? That means you care, right? But then also there's a lot of great hip hop out there, whether it's the stuff that that's polarizing because maybe the content's too edgy, or they feel like an artist, there's like that purist kind of core hip hop thing where it's like, oh, this person ain't really that good, or, too much auto tune, or they're singing, they're not right, all that type of shit. But, I think there's a lot of sampling going on, which obviously has always been a part of hip hop. So I wouldn't say that it's too futuristic, but I think there's also a lot of artists that are trying new things and being experimental and creating a fan base around that. And I think that's amazing too. You know what I'm saying? There's things I hear that I don't like, but I appreciate that it's risky, and I appreciate that they're trying it and they're trying to do something, but I might be like, it ain't there yet, but at least you're like pushing forward into something that could turn into something. You never know. And that's what art's about, right?
Yeah. So would you like to see, for example, that more rap collaborations with Corrido Tomatoes artists?
Of course, if that's what the artists want, the community wants that. Look, I love, cross collaborations, international, and especially with, with indigenous people on the planet, being able to tell their stories and share their stories with each other and collaborate. I think, that's always something I'm going to be very, very supportive of.
Yeah. I think that it could be an interesting thing to see, to listen and hip hop album, Corridos, but an album.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We sometimes we listen, like Snoop Dogg with Panda Mess and things.
Yeah, right.
And it was sporadic,
Right. It's not a full project with a focus. Yeah, I think it would take it's going to take someone who is not only a producer that gets it, sonically gets it, but then also the artists, connecting in a real way. I think there's a lot of artists who want to collaborate for the sake of creativity, I think, unfortunately, we live at a time right now where there's a lot of artists who don't collaborate just because their whole journey of creation has been them and their friends and their laptop in the studio. And so they've never really had a collaborative environment in that way yet, you know, not all, but a lot, because it's kind of like they got popping on the internet with their song, and it's just kind of like they make their song in front of their laptop, you know, put it up on the internet and it goes, and that's how they want to do it. But to do what you're talking about, I think it would take a music supervisor who can, you know, get a verse from this person, and put a song together, manufacture the song together, and or a space where everyone could come together and like just create, you know. So it's gonna take someone to push that in the right direction.
Can you name a collaboration that you are that you would like to listen someday?
I would probably say, I think Peso Pluma or Nathaniel Cano, those two guys. And probably, I think sonically it would make sense for like those, stylistically, those two guys with like the Little Dirks of the world, maybe even like Offset, you know. Obviously Cardi B could be the person to just bring all the worlds together in the right way, right? Like that would be huge. Trying to think. Are you familiar with this rapper out of Texas named That Mexican OT? Yeah, it's a Mexican kid from Texas. Fire. Like he's on straight rap, but he's from Texas, like, but he's a Mexican kid. I don't know if he's bilingual, I don't know if he speaks Spanish or not, but you know, he's the type of artist that like is like building his profile in the streets in America and has collaborations with American, you know, United States rappers that could probably bridge that gap as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was a pleasure meeting you.